Marina. Nice to meet you. I'm Marina.
N- Nice to meet you as well.
How are
Thank you
you?
so much for having me.
Oh, no
Great.
problem. So you grew up in Novi and you went to Michigan for undergrad. I went to Michigan as well, and I grew up in Southfield. What is it like to perform so close to your hometown? Like this is your hometown show.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I really have been all over the place in Michigan. I'm currently in Novi. But I went to like West Middle School, Gretschko Elementary School, Scotch Elementary School, and I also went to Stony Creek High School. My mom got her PhD in early childhood music education at Oakland University, and I mean, go blue! I went to University of Michigan as well. I also went to Interlochen Arts Academy. I have been like a through like a complete Michigan girl from start to finish. So to be able to do something like this, especially in the arts, Detroit is so well known for its music connections with Motown. And, it's the birth of so many amazing genres of music. And so to be able to be a performer in this state and getting to do that here at the Detroit Fisher has been, I mean, stuff of dreams.
Yes. Speaking of a rich history, Company has been a musical since the 70s. Why do you think the story is still so relevant now?
I mean, the whole premise of the show is about like the challenge of maintaining relationships in a society becoming increasingly like depersonalized. And I think finding a real connection, especially now post-pandemic, um, that's a universal thing that I think we all are desperately trying to find the answers to all the time. There's no one recipe for what it means to have a relationship with anyone. And right now, increasingly, with everything that's going on in the world, I think it's so important to kind of go back to the basics of why do we have relationships? What is even the meaning of having relationships, and like why do we need them as a human being? Um, and yeah, the company like musical is about like the key is to like figuring out what it's like to be alive. I mean, we have a 11 o'clock number called Being Alive, where Bobbie really dissects through all these relationships, what she learns and what she thinks she can take away from all of her relationships she has in her life.
Yes. In your character, Susan, how do you relate to her or how don't you relate to her?
Oh man. Well, I think what's fun about this show is that like you can really bring in a lot of your personal experiences to these couples because um they're just people, they're just people in Bobbie's lives. And this one specifically, Susan's given circumstances is that she decides that she wants to, spoil alert, want to get a divorce. And that is like the biggest conversation that we have within our scene. Um, and what's funny is that we have all these institutional, like, expectations of marriage and everything that comes with that. And so I love that Susan and Peter find a way to make marriage work for them, and that's by getting a divorce. Um, I obviously am not married, and I have not yet therefore been divorced. So in that way, I guess I do not relate to her in that way. But um, I think like that idea of having pressures to get married or to not get a divorce is like conversations that are constantly in all these things have negative and positive connotations to them. And so really dissecting how um, that works for our coupling is really interesting. I also wanted to point out that I'm Japanese, and the person who's playing Peter, Javier, is Latin. He's a Latinx descent, and so to have us be together, we can't erase what we look like, And so a lot of our character building was based on, okay, this is my background, and I'm going to speak from my truth. And to have an international, interracial coupling like that, I think makes our specific marriage super unique, and a different way of approaching this couple. So that has been really interesting and super fun. And so in that way, I guess I put a little bit of myself in Susan.
Yes. What would you say is your favorite song from the musical, even if you're not a part of it?
Oh man. Marry Me a Little is just gorgeous. Specifically, Brittany Coleman, who is also from Michigan. She's from Ann Arbor. She sings the hell out of it, and it is so beautiful. Um, uh, yeah, I think that might be my favorite song.
And what would you say is your favorite part of the musical?
My favorite part has been actually the challenge of this piece itself. These are all vignettes of um, these couples in Bobbie's um, Alice in Wonderland like dream.
Mm.
And they all kind of come in a non-linear fashion. So to try and for all of us to piece that together has been so interesting to me. I've never been in a piece like this before where it's non-linear. You don't have a beginning, middle, and end. It's very much uh, a unique way of storytelling, and that's why it was so well thought of in the 70s, because it was such a unique musical to begin with, and yet it won so many Tonys and it was so successful in those days. So yeah.
What are some of your tour essentials? Because I know that you can only bring like one or two suitcases.
Oh yeah, I mean this is my third tour. So and I've done this a lot by now. And so I know exactly what I have time for, what I don't have time for, or what I need, and where I'm gonna stay. And so I don't know. It's uh, everything that's travelable is definitely essential. I have like a mini humidifier. I have a mini air purifier for these hotels. I have like a hotel like extra special locks so that like no one can break in. Like little things like that. I think more and more too as I grow older, I'm less naive to just the world in general. And so um yeah, and like protecting my health and safety has been number one for me. What's a fun thing that I like to bring around? I've definitely been into photography, so I've been carrying some of my vintage cameras and trying to take shots. I started that back in the Frozen tour when I was in that production, and it's been a great pastime for me.
Yes. And is there something that you try to do in every city you visit?
Um, Eat through the cities. That's my favorite thing about tour. Definitely going to the best places to eat around the country. And I'm like to be outside as well. I like to try and go on hikes and explore. So yeah, food and exploring.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to
Of
talk to you
course.
about future projects.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No problem. You have a good one.
You too. Bye.